The shuttle descended through layers of iridescent clouds, revealing a world unlike anything I had ever imagined. My name is Kale, and just weeks ago I was a junior xenobotanist on a research outpost. Now I was a political pawn, a peace offering. I was being forced to marry a Xylosian noble to seal a treaty between our species. My bride-to-be? Lady Velara, a woman 33 years my senior. The data slate said she was a formidable figure, a warrior who had seen more battles than I'd had birthdays. The holopics showed a stern face, etched with lines of authority and time, her four piercing eyes seeming to judge my very soul. I was terrified. What kind of life could this be? A loveless political union with a stranger from another star, a woman who was practically an ancient relic by my standards. The grand hall was intimidating. Xylosian architecture soared towards an artificially lit ceiling, mimicking a starfield I didn't recognize. Guards in polished obsidian armor lined the way, their gazes as sharp as their ceremonial blades. And there she was, at the end of the hall, standing beside a throne-like chair. Velara. In person, she was even more imposing. Taller than the holopics suggested, her presence filled the room. She wore deep crimson robes that contrasted with her pale, almost luminous skin. Her expression was unreadable, a mask of stoic nobility. My heart hammered against my ribs as I approached, feeling small and utterly out of place. This was it. My life was over before it had truly begun. The ceremony was a blur of alien rituals and incomprehensible vows. I just nodded and repeated the sounds as instructed, my mind numb. Afterward, we were led to her private chambers. The silence was deafening, thick with unspoken anxieties. I expected coldness, dismissal, perhaps even contempt. Instead, she gestured to a seating area near a large window overlooking the alien city. "Sit, Kale," she said. Her voice wasn't the harsh command I'd anticipated. It was low, resonant, and carried a surprising warmth, like aged wood warmed by a hearth. She poured a shimmering blue liquid into two delicate cups. "This is Luvian tea. It helps calm the nerves." She handed me one. Our fingers brushed, and I felt not the cold scales I'd imagined, but skin that was smooth and warm. I took a hesitant sip. It tasted of berries and something like mint. "Thank you," I managed to say. She looked at me then, really looked at me, and for the first time I saw past the stern warrior. I saw weariness in her eyes, a hint of sadness. "I know this is not what you chose," she said softly. "It was not my choice either. I have served my people for over a century. I have led armies and negotiated treaties. I never imagined my life would include this." She gestured between us. "But the treaty is vital. Our people need peace." I found my voice, a little stronger this time. "I understand, Lady Velara. I'll do my duty." A small, almost imperceptible smile touched her lips. "Velara is fine. And perhaps we can make this duty more than just an obligation. We don't have to be enemies, Kale." The next few weeks were a strange dance of discovery. Velara showed me her world. She took me to the crystal gardens where glowing flora pulsed with soft light. She introduced me to Xylosian art, music, and literature. I learned she was not just a warrior, but a scholar. Her private library was vast, filled with ancient scrolls and modern data chips. She spoke of philosophy, of galactic history, of strategies that won wars and forged empires. I was fascinated. In return, I told her about Earth. I showed her images of our oceans, our forests, our sprawling cities. I played her classical music and rock and roll. She listened with an intensity that made me feel seen. She was particularly captivated by Shakespeare. "Your people have such a grasp of tragedy and passion," she'd murmur, her four eyes scanning the digital text of Hamlet. One evening, I found her in her workshop, meticulously polishing a collection of antique blades. I asked her about them, and she began to tell me their stories. Each weapon was a memory, a battle won, a friend lost. She spoke of her first command, the fear she felt, the weight of responsibility. She wasn't just a legend. She was a person who had lived, loved, and lost. The age gap that had seemed like a chasm began to feel more like a bridge. She had a universe of experience to share, and I, with my youthful curiosity, was an eager student. I taught her how to cook a simple human pasta dish. She laughed, a genuine rumbling sound, when she got sauce on her cheek. In that moment she wasn't the formidable Lady Velara. She was just my wife, with a bit of tomato on her face. The Treaty Council reconvened a year later. Human and Zalosian delegates gathered, expecting to see a strained, purely political couple. Instead, they saw us walk in together, Velara's hand resting comfortably on my arm. We moved with an easy familiarity, finishing each other's sentences, sharing private smiles. The change was palpable. The stiff formality of the previous meetings melted away. Seeing our genuine bond, the delegates relaxed. The negotiations that followed were smoother, more cooperative. Our marriage was no longer just a symbol of peace. It was the living embodiment of it. It showed that our two vastly different cultures could not only coexist but find common ground, friendship, and even love. One day, Velara found me sketching in a notebook, trying to capture the alien beauty of the crystal gardens. She came up behind me and rested her chin on my shoulder. "You have a true artist's eye, Kale," she said. I looked up at her, at the face that had once terrified me. The lines no longer looked like scars of authority, but maps of a life well lived. Her 4 eyes, once intimidating, now held a deep, unwavering affection that I knew was reserved just for me. "I was so scared when I first came here," I confessed. She smiled, that rare, beautiful smile that still made my heart skip a beat. "And I was weary," she replied. "I thought my life was a closed book, all duties and endings. You, my young human, were the most unexpected new chapter. They sent me the seal of peace treaty, a human sacrifice to politics. They forced me to marry a woman 3 decades my senior, an alien warrior from a distant world. They expected a tragedy, a life of quiet desperation. But no one, least of all me, expected what actually happened. I didn't just find peace from my people. I found my partner. I found my teacher, my best friend. In the heart of an alien world, in the arms of a woman I was supposed to fear, I found my home. I found love in the most unexpected way imaginable.